Ever see the cover or poster for a movie and immediately know that you have to see it? That was my reaction when I first saw the cover for Neon Maniacs. Neon Maniacs is a 1986 horror thriller from director Joseph Mangine. The movie opens with a guy fishing under the Golden Gate Bridge. While walking back, he finds a skull holding a door open. The guy finds some cards in the skull. I don't recognize any of these Pokemon. He's too distracted by the cards and takes an axe to the back. Neon Maniacs trading cards. Collect the whole set! Okay, we got a movie about interdimensional beings that go on a killing spree in San Francisco. What's the song we want to open with? When I think Neon Maniacs, I'm not thinking smooth jazz. A group of teens are driving through San Francisco, celebrating Natalie's birthday. They pass by a punk club, and it's scary how 30 years later, the major difference between a San Francisco punk and a San Francisco hipster is a beard. The gang stops at the liquor store, and apparently, $5 is way too expensive for a case of beer.
$5? We're talking beer, not champagne.
Steven's walking his dog, who takes a liking to Natalie. Roy comes out of the store and decides to get confrontational with Steven by delivering an insult only a jock would find funny.
That's pretty quick. Pasta breath.
So it looks like $5 won't get you a case of beer, but it will get you an empty Heineken box. Meanwhile, in Paula's room, she's channeling Corey Feldman from Friday the 13th, the final chapter. The gang does what all teens did in the 80s. Drives into the middle of a park to get drunk and make out. Hey, idiots! That's the get the hell out of the park while you're still alive noise. The Neon Maniacs are closing in on the group of easy pickings. Drunk number 1 gets killed. Biker guy gets his leg broken and killed. Worst ending to a blowjob ever. A mutant samurai is walking towards me. I know! I'll just stand here and shoot him with a Roman candle. Surely this isn't a bad idea. Two of the maniacs find the van.
You guys looking for a game?
Yes, clearly these guys are cosplayers looking to play some Mutant League football. The guy gets hung and Linda takes an arrow to the back. Hey, I know that scream. Natalie locks herself in the van as the maniacs slowly descend upon her. The maniacs are trying to flip the van and then suddenly leave. The door swings open and it's the cops. How'd they get in? Wasn't the door locked? The police take her in for questioning. Yeah, a bunch of Rita Repulsa's mutants killed my friends. Even though the van was covered in claw marks, and the windshield was shattered by an axe, the chief doesn't feel it's worth investigating. I think he's flirting with one of the other cops.
Let's see what the sunrise brings.
Natalie goes home, but her parents are on a long vacation without her. All my friends were killed in front of me tonight. Oh well, guess I'll go for a swim, tee-hee. The caveman maniac tries to kill her, but she gets away by jumping in the pool. She falls asleep on the inner tube, when suddenly... But of course it was just a nightmare. The police are investigating the crime scene and discover that Slimer's been here. C-3PO's sweet. Paula gets a phone call and finds out what happened to Natalie, so she goes to talk to her.
Excuse me, are you Natalie Lawrence?
I need help learning how to wear hats. Steven's talking to a friend at lunch. Who eats a hoagie like this? Paula's hat lessons are moving along. She's now wearing it on the other side of her head. Steven's delivering groceries, and movie cliche number 23 is alive and well, I see. He's excited because he has to deliver to Natalie's house. Please allow me to put away these individually wrapped slices of pizza. He finally gets the nerve to ask her on a date, and she says yes. That's great. This'll surely take your mind off of all your dead friends. Oh. Paula's still investigating the crime scene. Must be allergy season. She follows the trail all the way to the Golden Gate Bridge. The police find her and take her bike. Suddenly it's night and the police are investigating the door under the bridge. The maniacs kill the cops. Paula's back and discovers that the maniacs are weak against water. These guys' one weakness is water, so they set up shop under a bridge near the San Francisco Bay? What? It's raining, so the maniacs decide to take the subway. How did they get there? It's raining. The maniacs hijack the subway to get to Natalie and Steve. Good thing no one else is using the subway tonight. How did this guy miss? All he had to do was throw it straight ahead. They manage to get away and get on a bus. Oh, come on. Somehow one of them ran at least 25 miles an hour and grabbed him through the window. Natalie chops his arm off and they get away. I'm driving the train. One of the maniacs tracks Paula to her room, but she dumps water on him and knocks him into the shower.
I'm melting! Melting! Oh, what a world! What a world!
The next day, Steven's talking to Natalie. That shirt is wonderful. Steve, you might want to fix your sweater. Paula came to tell Natalie she knows how to kill the maniacs. Swing away! There's a Halloween party, Battle of the Bands, at the school, so they go there and give everyone squirt guns. The bands competing are the Outlaws and the Motley Crue. I don't know which band has the lamer opening.
Let me ruin your evening.
The maniacs make a beeline to the school to stop Steve's shitty music. Holy crap, how many of them are there? The maniacs bust in the school looking for Natalie. These guys are pretty dumb. They bust into the school but can't seem to figure out that Natalie might be in the auditorium where all the noise is coming from.
We've had enough!
So has the audience. Wasn't the whole reason that Natalie came here was to be around people? Then why is she wandering off alone? She's not even carrying a squirt gun. Why are they serving beer at a high school dance? Okay, maybe going to a costume party was not the best idea. Paul notices, but that doesn't matter, because the soldier comes in to open fire. Didn't anyone think to tell the audience that if the mutants show up to use the squirt guns? One of the cops rushes in and crashes into a maniac. Instead of terror, I think they both found love. Paula seems to be the only one doing anything right. Steve and Natalie go to escape.
Yeah, what about Paula?
Paula can take care of herself.
Screw her. She only just saved my life. Steven and Natalie hide in a classroom. There's a bunch of demons running around outside, killing our classmates. What should we do? Let's have sex. The police department's overrun by upset parents. The chief's talking to Steven, Natalie, and Paula. They call in additional cops and the fire company to take out the maniac's lair. They head inside, but of course, don't find anything. The chief goes back in and finds the maniacs have been traveling through a portal in the back of the bakery truck. Alright, so the kids are going back to the lair to have a showdown with the... Wait, that's it? They're ending it there? The movie was shot in Glendale and San Francisco, California for a rumored $1.5 million. The movie had a lot of problems. The biggest was that even though they had producers and a budget, some of the producers pulled their funds, so they had to halt production while searching for more money. This led to many arguments with people who were upset about not getting paid. At one point, one of the cameramen took all the gear home with him, so that they wouldn't be able to continue filming until they paid him. Since there were large gaps of time between filming, this made a lot of the maniacs quit. If you look at the cast list, that's why so many of them are played by multiple people. One guy wouldn't come back, so they'd have to hire another. Then he'd quit, and they'd have to hire another. The design of the maniacs is wonderful. Each one has a distinct look and personality, although that personality is mostly walk forward slowly and occasionally murder someone. But still, their look is a large part of what makes Neon Maniacs memorable. Kindertrauma called them a cross between Cenobites and the Village People. I can't think of a more perfect description. This was also the Wishmaster himself, Andrew Divoff's cinematic debut as the Doc. It's unfortunate that because of all the budgeting issues, we don't get to see them nearly as much as we should. Director Joseph Mangine really had no interest in making a horror film. It's just at that time horror was a hot commodity, and there were some producers that wanted to capitalize on that and make a quick buck. They bought the script for cheap from first-time writer Mark Patrick Carducci, who later would go on to write Pumpkinhead. After filming on and off for an uncertain amount of time, they came to realize that they officially were out of money. This is why it ends so abruptly. They took what they had and stitched together a movie that didn't make a whole lot of sense, because big chunks of the script went unfilmed. Unfortunately, the director and writer have since both died, and many other folks involved with the production just don't want to talk about it, so we'll never really find out exactly what they had in mind. It's a shame, really. Even though it is kind of a mess, it's just so ridiculously charming. The plucky Natalie, who still remains cheerful despite the fact that all of her friends are dead. Steven, who goes from dork to rock star. Paula, the 14-year-old kid that managed to kill more of the maniacs than the two leads. And of course, the maniacs themselves. We'll never find out why they were able to travel through dimensions in the back of a bakery truck under a bridge, or why they were inexplicably drawn to Natalie. So many unanswered questions. Were they robots or were they demons? Why did some of them resemble humans and others not? What was the deal with the trading cards? Why did Natalie and Steve think it was a good idea to have sex while they're being hunted by mutant killers? Doesn't anyone in this town use public transportation? Why is the movie set in San Francisco, but has the World Trade Center on the cover? This is the perfect example of a flawed movie that still wins you over. It's completely broken, but the combination of the brightly colored Maniacs and the very likable cast make this a movie that you'll want to come back to. Sure, I would have loved some closure, but that's just not happening. It's a movie that will forever be an entertaining anomaly.
Thank you very much, sir. Oink, oink, oink.
Oh, smart-ass kid.